a young air traffic controller who remained behind during an earthquake to make sure a plane carrying hundreds of passengers took off safely, has been hailed a hero. Antonius Gunawan Agung, 21, was working at Mutiarasis Al Jufri Airport in Palu on the central Indonesian island of Sulawesi on Friday night when a 6.1 magnitude tremor hit, followed by a 7.5 magnitude quake. His actions unquestionably saved the lives of dozens, but at least 384 people have been killed in a resulting tsunami, and another 500 injured after waves up to 18 feet tall swept over Indonesia, with fears the death toll could rise into the thousands. The tremors left deep fissures in the runway just as Batik Air Flight 6321 was preparing to take off with hundreds of people on board. His colleagues ran for their lives when the control tower began to sway as the ground underneath it split. Agung alone remained behind in the crumbling tower until he was certain he had done enough to guide the pilots of the plane safely into the air. His bravery could potentially have saved the lives of all the passengers and crew on board the plane, as the city was later devastated by a tsunami caused by the earthquake. The building began to shake soon after the plane departed, and, fearing he would be trapped beneath the debris if the tower collapsed around him, Agung jumped from a fourth-floor window. He was rushed to hospital having suffered internal injuries and a broken leg. A helicopter was called to take him to a different hospital for specialist care, and he was due to be picked up again from the airport on Saturday morning. However, he died before the helicopter arrived. Share this article. He was given a hero's send-off amid hundreds of tributes on Saturday as soldiers carried his body to be transported to the burial. He was just 1 month away from his 22nd birthday. Airnav bosses also increased his rank by 2 levels in recognition of the sacrifice he made. The fallout from the earthquake caused a gigantic tsunami on Friday evening which killed almost 400 people and injured 540 more in Palu City alone. Vice President Yusuf Kala said the death toll could rise to thousands. Other cities known to be closer to the quake's epicenter are not yet accessible as power and communications have cut out. Search and rescue operations in Palu have also been hampered by a landslide which cut off the city's main highway. Bodies covered the beaches in Palu on Saturday, where a festival to celebrate the city's anniversary was supposed to have taken place the previous evening. The wall of water, which was up to 18 feet high, struck the city's shoreline at 500 miles per hour, leaving thousands homeless as it swept away buildings, cars and infrastructure. Some people reportedly climbed 18-feet trees to escape the tsunami and survived. Fears are mounting for the fishing town of Donggala, which was closer to the epicenter of the quake, but which rescuers have not been able to reach. The town of Mamuju was also severely affected, but currently impossible to access due to damaged roads and disrupted telecommunications. Meanwhile, criticisms have been leveled at the Conrail's Geophysics Agency for lifting the tsunami warning 34 minutes after it was first issued, which may have led to confusion and exacerbated the death toll. The number of casualties was no doubt increased by the fact that hundreds of people had descended on Palu's beach for a festival to celebrate the city's anniversary, due to start Friday night. When the tsunami threat arose yesterday, people were still doing their activities on the beach and did not immediately run, and they became victims. Sutopo Purwonugroho, spokesman of Indonesia's disaster mitigation agency BNPB, said in news briefing in Jakarta. The military has started sending in cargo planes with aid from Jakarta and other cities, authorities said, but evacuees still badly need food and other basic necessities. The city's airport has been reopened only for relief efforts and will remain closed until October. 4 for commercial flights. The airport's runway and air traffic control tower were damaged in the quake, authorities said. President Joko Widodo was scheduled to visit evacuation centers in Palu on Sunday. The National Disaster Mitigation Agency warned early on of reports showing that victims died in the rubble of a collapsed building. It is thought thousands of buildings have been damaged, with some entirely swept away or demolished, leaving scores of families still missing among the debris. Strong aftershocks continued to rock Palu on Saturday morning. Photographs from the city on the coast of Sulawesi Island showed bodies being lined up along the street, some in bags and others with their faces covered with clothes. Indonesia's Meteorological and Geophysics Agency BMKG issued a tsunami warning after the first quake, but lifted it 34 minutes later. People in central Sulawesi and West Sulawesi provinces were told to evacuate to higher ground, though it remains unclear as to whether people remained in their homes because of the contradicting government advice. The agency faced criticism on Saturday, with many questioning if the tsunami warning was lifted too soon.